Benefits of a new European smartphone last 10 years, and artificial intelligence that can decode speech from brainwaves, and special guest Dave DeCoslia of PacDash in studio today discussing technology, supply chains, and the flow of goods around the world. All that and more next on The Computer Doctor Show.
You're listening to The Computer Doctor Show, your source for technology subjects affecting your business and personal life during this new normal. Your host is an award-winning office technician and IT specialist, author, tutor, ethical hacker, and recent winner on localbest.com as the best computer shop in Tucson. Broadcasting live, here's Aaron Moss.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Computer Doctor Show, your headquarters for up-to-date scam awareness, science, and cutting-edge technology talk. This is episode 105. I'm Aaron Moss, your host. Thanks for tuning in with us every Saturday at 2 p.m. We post all of our shows and bonus content on computerdoctorshow.com. Again, computerdoctorshow.com. We love to hear from you, so give us a call during the show with your computer, internet, cybersecurity comments and questions on our open studio line, 520-790-2040. We might only be able to take one call today because we do have a special guest in studio today. Co-hosting today is Mike from the Cassie Unscrewed Theater.
Hello, hello.
And we also have Dave here. We're going to get to him in just a second. We would like to show some love to Mike and the team at Perfection Auto Works, the other Mike, for all of your car's needs. Mike Emery has found the dream team of expert auto technicians in Tucson in their clean facilities so they can get it right the first time. So don't waste your time or your money at other shops. Take advantage of the free 26-point inspection at Perfection Auto Works. For an appointment, call 520-323-8650. Again, 520-323-8650 and perfectionautoworks.com. We're going to do a quick science and tech history, and we're going to get into some tech announcements, followed by an interview with our special guest. So, Mike, what do you have for us as far as science and tech history?
Couple, I think, really cool things. September 9th, 1947, 75 years ago, the first bug was found in a computer. Literally. A moth caused a short circuit on a circuit board at Harvard University. The engineers removed it and taped it to a logbook and labeled it the first bug.
Yes, and ironically, that's where the term actually came from.
Yeah,
actually from a bug.
From a bug.
The term kind of caught on to any time there's a malfunction of a program or a piece of hardware. They call it, we got to work that bug out. Now, if I were a water bug or a roach or something, I would love to live inside of a power supply because there's all kinds of nooks and crannies. There's vents and it's warm in there.
Yeah,
there's a place to lay my eggs. You know, I would love to. And I know that my thinking is right in line with real bugs because I have seen bugs in power supplies.
Yeah.
If you have a desktop computer, chances are you have a bug in there living.
Yeah.
All right. What else you got for us, Mike?
September 9th, 1976, 46 years ago, JVC released their first VCR using VHS in competition with the Sony Betamax. And we know who won that one.
Yeah, VHS, long time. Have you ever? What's your history with VCRs? Do you still have a VCR? I do.
Yes, I do.
I have a working one.
Mine is working, I believe.
All right. Now, can you program it?
No.
Of course not. I just thought that
doesn't make any sense.
What's the last one we have there?
Last one, September 11th, 1992, 30 years ago, Atari 2600 was released. No doubt Pong became an instant classic, and Atari itself as a company just celebrated 50 years as a company back in June.
All right. Very interesting stuff for Atari. I was a Nintendo. I came in, I was an 80s baby, so I kind of was more into Nintendo than the Atari. Atari was kind of whack. Can I say that word on the word? Whack?
Own it.
Yeah.
Just own it.
All right. Here's some interesting announcements worth mentioning this week. Wouldn't it be great if your smartphone could last for 10 years?
Yeah.
Because on average, we go through phones every 2 or 3 years. I know I've gotten updates on my smartphone every 2 or 3 years, but a new European smartphone company claims that it can last for 10 years, this new smartphone, under a 5-year warranty, 5G and future-proof specs, modular and repairable, only held together with screws.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say Phillips screws.
Phillips screws, just normal little bitty
screws. So it's totally repairable. Okay, and modular. Also, Facebook Meta partnered with an effort to develop an artificial intelligence that can decode speech from brain waves. Artificial intelligence could eventually be used to help thousands of people around the world who are unable to communicate through speech, typing, or gestures. This includes many patients minimally conscious or locked in vegetative states that is now generally known as unresponsive wakefulness syndrome. So I think they have the Riddler from the Batman movie over there at Facebook Meta.
Figuring stuff out, starting their brainwaves reading.
Nice. All right. Okay. Now we're going to get some meat and potatoes to our show. Our guest in studio today is the co-founder and CEO of PacDash, which is an e-commerce fulfillment center similar to Amazon. Starting in Chicago 2 years ago and now operating here in Tucson, he helped the development of products like Google Maps and Cars.com. He's also a volunteer member of Tech Launch at the U of A. So I'd like to welcome Dave D. Kozla to the Computer Doctor Show.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Dave.
Hey, Dave.
All right.
Thanks for being here.
So Dave is actually doing some pretty interesting stuff. Now, we've all bought things online. We're practically out of the pandemic. Small and medium large businesses are forced to have some sort of online ordering system in some fashion. So, Dave, what can you tell us what typically happens behind the scenes when normal businesses receive online orders, like businesses outside of Amazon? What typically happens?
Yeah, so if you think of the e-commerce marketplace, about 47% of all e-commerce goods are transferred through Amazon, right? So they're the big ones.
Yeah.
But actually 53% are done through everyone else, right? So it actually, think of the scale of Amazon, the same thing's happening on the other side, but even bigger. And what's really going on is every time you place an order, that information is dropped into a warehouse, and it helps locate a product that sits on a shelf somewhere up in a rack. And these facilities can be anywhere from 20,000 square feet to 1 million square feet.
Right.
And so, I'm interested to be on your show just because there is so much technology that is actually bringing that item off a shelf that's located in 1 million square foot warehouse and then delivering it right to your house.
Okay.
Quickly, too.
Yeah.
Quickly.
Same day.
Same day. Yes, I've ordered things on Amazon, and I would get it that same night. I would order in the morning and be there at night.
Yep.
I've had some cases like that. And also, so like when you're on like Amazon, there are things that are actually sold by Amazon. And then there are things that are sold by other vendors, even within the Amazon, and other websites where you can click a buy button on a website that's not Amazon, but it's actually being fulfilled by Amazon, but by some backwards way of. You see, you know more about this.
Yeah.
So
I mean, even PacDash works with Amazon, right? If you think of, if you're a business owner, Amazon is just one sales channel. Right? It's like, I'm going to sell things on Amazon. I'm going to sell things on my own website. I'm going to try to get things into stores. Anyone who's just strictly working with Amazon is kind of in a tricky position because Amazon is very powerful. And if they don't like what you're doing, they can put you to the bottom of the listings and your business is done for.
Yeah.
So
gotta have other avenues, right?
Yeah.
So one of the things is that comes into play is the costs involved. So what are some of the things that are making shipping more expensive these last few years? I noticed that, and of course, there's gas prices are obviously involved, but what else is involved with the expense of shipping?
Yeah. So commercial real estate's getting wildly expensive. It used to be that industrial properties were kind of the leftovers. Nobody wanted them, right? It was just like, who could use a big old dirty warehouse, right? Well, now these are highly coveted. These are the most pristine. These are incredibly valuable because there's so much happening. So a fun fact is during the pandemic, we actually went 5 years forward in any sort of e-commerce forecast. So we are actually operating in a 2025 expected e-commerce adoption, and the spaces were not there. That's what actually created opportunities for my business. There was no such thing. There was just so much demand and so little supply.
Right.
And so the cost of even having one of these warehouses is probably 5x of what it used to be.
Right. So warehouse space is just hot property now.
Yes,
and
the hottest.
Ultimately, that comes down to pricing, because when people order things, they need a warehouse to get it from, and things of that sort. Right?
Yeah, and a lot of them aren't even built yet. I mean, I've been in warehouses that are half under construction, where they're operating in one half of it, and the other half isn't even finished yet. But that's how intense this all is.
Wow.
Do you own your own warehouses, or is that part of your
No,
business
I'm a
model?
renter.
You're a renter.
I'm just leasing space. But we have a space here in downtown Tucson. It's fantastic. I mean, it allows us to get anything to anyone in Tucson, in that same sort of same-day capacity.
Now, another part of the e-commerce situation is returns. So, what happens when? So we know we're a little bit understanding about what happens when something gets ordered. But now, what happens if somebody is dissatisfied with the product and now they want to return it? What's going on there?
Yeah, so there's two ways to think about it. One is you turn something back and it's pristine, and I can put it right back on the shelf and I can sell it to somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
I would say half the time it is not pristine, it is not in good condition, and it is unsellable.
Right.
And you even see there's people that are building entire businesses around just taking these kind of like minor, worried goods and then turning them into, hey, buy this defected product for 50% off, right?
Yeah,
and that's another thing you can do.
And I've also seen these shops where they have open box sales where you can buy just mystery items in a skit.
Yeah.
Like an entire skit. You can and you bid on them, they auction them off, and these are just returned items that they don't want to file or look at or do whatever else with, right?
It costs $300. So you
Okay.
can show up at any of these auctions, and for $300 you can just buy mystery skit. Like it's just whatever, right? It's like you're in Storage Wars or like one of those TV shows where you're just hoping that there's
That sounds
a
actually
Babe
kind of
Ruth
fun.
baseball card in there somewhere.
Yeah.
That's cool. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our quick commercial break. Hey, Tom, our quick commercial break. We're going to talk a little bit more with Dave DeCosley about what PacDash is doing to help this marketplace. This is the Computer Doctor Show. We'll be right back.
This just in, Perfection Auto Works drops the labor rates to combat inflation.
Hey, it's a bird! It's a plane!
No, it's Inflation Reduction Man.
I was shaving this morning and saw a flash in the mirror. Just got the call back from Perfection Auto Works that my AC is fixed and ready, and my bill was incredibly discounted. Thanks, Inflation Reduction Man.
I was looking up in the sky and saw this flash. When I picked up my car for repairs at Perfection Auto Works, my bill was way less than was estimated. Thanks, Inflation Reduction Man.
When you need to combat inflation on your car or truck, let Perfection Auto Works be your inflation-busting headquarters with our new 15% off on all repairs. Let Perfection be your inflation reduction man. Call today, 323-8650 and perfectionautoworks.com.
Computer Doctor of Tucson is the best choice in desktop support in Tucson. They fix error messages, power and boot problems, install of software and hardware, and much more. You can come to them, or they can come to you, or even have a remote support session so they can fix your issues over the phone quickly. Give them a call at 261-5508, 261-5508. Visit them on the web at computerdoctortucson.com. Computer Doctor of Tucson, because technology is great when it works.
Welcome back to the Computer Doctor Show, your source for scam awareness, science, and cutting-edge technology talk. I'm Aaron Moss, your host, along with Mike, co-hosting today from the Unscrewed Theater. And special guest today, Dave DeCosley, CEO of PacDash, is here with us as well. Before we get into our part two of our discussion, Mike, what can you tell us about the Unscrewed Theater?
Yes, the Unscrewed Theater. We were Tucson's first theater dedicated to improv comedy and improvisational theater. We are located at 4500 East Speedway Boulevard, which is right between Columbus and Swan on the south-hand side of the street. We do family-friendly shows every Friday and Saturday night at 7:30. We have other uncensored versions as well, and other special shows coming up. For example, next Saturday, a week from tonight, we're doing a nerds-only kind of a show called Into the Unscrewdiverse, and it's just going to be a fun
That's
pop
a
culture.
nerd name right there.
Exactly.
Screwdiverse.
Unscrewdiverse, yeah.
Unscrewdiverse.
If you understand that reference, you are a nerd, and you should be at that show.
Speaking of other shows, how did everything go with the Tucson Comic-Con? You had a couple of shows there as well. So.
Yeah, we did. We had our house team called Comic Chaos, where they do comic book based improv, which is great for kids, by the way, Dave.
All right,
your kids are here.
I'll be there.
Yeah, and they next Saturday. That's part of the Unscrewdiverse. Actually, they did a show at Comic Con and had a good turnout. And then a couple of our instructors did a panel on how improv can enhance your cosplay and LARPing kind of experience with Comic-Con.
And help you lose weight, too.
And that, too.
Well, I can tell you my son loves Baby Yoda, so I already have ideas out there for
nice.
it. That is just start working material with that.
Since you mentioned your boys, why don't you give a shout-out to your family? They're actually here in studio with us. You can say hello.
Yeah, my wife Jada is here with my two sons, Leo and Lucas.
Oh,
Leo,
okay.
love that name.
Super. They could. I guess they can. I'm not sure if they can hear you yet, but okay. All right. Well, let's get back into our discussion. We were talking about PacDash. Now, before the break, we were talking with Dave DeCoslia, CEO of PacDash, no stranger to business building. We discussed some of the pitfalls of e-commerce and how we're going to learn how PacDash can actually help some of these situations. So, Dave, how does PacDash work exactly? Currently, technology. What kind of technology are you using in the PacDash business?
Yeah, so our business, we don't have any developers on hand, right? I'm not sitting around trying to make software.
Okay.
But what I do is I take a bunch of software that's free to use, and then I stitch it together.
Like what?
Notion is one of our project management app. That goes and connects to everything that we do, and it helps all of our employees are in there, all of our clients are in there, and we're all collaborating on a daily basis, as well as Slack. So I don't know if you've ever used Slack before, but it's kind of like instant messaging, like chat features.
In your office, yeah.
Yeah, and you might use it in your office, but what we do is we connect with our clients, and we allow them kind of real-time access as if they're working within our business.
You speak to your clients through Slack?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Every single one of them.
Usually
Every person has a dedicated channel.
Usually that's like an inter-office communication. So that's interesting that you use it for clients too.
That's how important supply chain and logistics is to any sort of e-commerce business. It is a core function. And so when you hire PacDash, I am essentially an employee in your business. Like I'm there working for you.
Okay.
Gotcha.
So how does PacDash integrate with the broader supply chain?
Well, we have what's called a warehouse management system, and we then connect that to transportation management systems, right? So these are two systems where as things are moving around in trucks, it's informing our warehouse that it's on its way. And then when it lands, it then gets received into the warehouse and transferred off the truck.
How do you do that? Like, is there some sort of gizmo inside that?
It's typically a bunch of scanning, right? So each item, each box, everything has a barcode on it.
Right.
And all these barcodes are just telling the system what to do and telling our people where to go. And so this amazing web of barcodes is really the secret sauce to the whole thing.
So you find a gap and you figure out how to close that gap.
Exactly.
With technology, right?
Yeah, everything should be automated in some way. I mean, if you think about it, PacDash is competing against Amazon in the big scheme of things, or at least we want our experience with our clients to be better than what Amazon can offer. And Amazon is a business that's worth $1 trillion.
Sure.
Yeah.
So you have to find ways to keep up with the robots over at Jeff Bezos' place.
Yeah. So, and by the way, we invited Jeff Bezos to be on the show today, but
he said no.
What?
He wasn't available.
Well, he's a busy man, so.
That guy.
So it's up to us. It's up to us. So Jeff is not here. It's up to us, to get through this. So what other technology are you using? So you mentioned Slack, what other technology?
Yeah, so Notion is a really amazing project management app. It's kind of like, I don't know if you're in tech, you get kind of like Asana. It's just a way to kind of manage tasks and just kind of inform teams of what's happening. We also use, like I said, Slack. I'm trying to think of the warehouse management system, and then QuickBooks.
QuickBooks.
Okay.
QuickBooks.
Lots of QuickBooks.
I was at an event where you were actually speaking. You said something even about Canva.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, man. Every single marketing piece you see has been done either by my wife or myself. and neither
In
of us
Canva.
are designers, and we do Canva.
We use Canva at the theater too.
There we go.
Yeah, that's great.
It's brilliant. That's
really
like
good.
By the way,
incredible
we're not getting paid for any of these endorsements here on the
No,
Computer
we
Doctor
should be.
Show. That's how you know that it's real up talking. So if you're a business owner that's out there, look into some of these companies and some of these services that we're looking at. Another service that I like to use for business is Google Docs.
Yep.
Right now I'm reading the show notes for this Computer Doctor Show right now on a Google Docs.
Yeah.
Right now, because it's something that I started writing up in my office, and I continued it at home, and I'm able to read it here in the studio. So that's like a great software for me. So just familiarizing yourself with all the different technologies out there to see how your business can operate and grow is great. Here's my next question. What is happening with the flow of goods around the world?
I mean,
what's going on?
It used to be that, so much stuff was manufactured in China. And
Not so much anymore.
Yeah, well, it's changing. It's rapidly evolving. There's
Well,
so
we
many
have
people trying to onshore things.
We have
it's incredible.
Vietnam and Taiwan, and we mentioned in other shows that at places like Apple and HP, they're trying to diversify where things are manufactured.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And in that diversification process, it's clogging all the lanes, right? So now now boats and everything's kind of coming in all different directions. And so many people are trying to make things here in the United States now. I mean, there's someone I know that used to make everything in Europe, and they just were able to move their entire supply chain to the U.S. because it used to take about 18 weeks from the minute it was finished for it to actually land in my warehouse.
Wow.
Which is just entirely too long
That's
for
a
any
long
business
time.
to wait for inventory.
In preparation for your visit here, I was reading that there is actually a shortage of shipping containers.
Yes.
Shipping containers and boats.
Yeah.
And pilots, for that matter.
Mm-hmm.
So now that's kind of obviously supply and demand. So the supplies are up, but now the ability of fulfilling things being made overseas, like you said, the lanes are being clogged.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I mean, it used to be you could buy a shipping container for about $2,000.
Mm-hmm.
Now they cost like 10.
Right.
8 to 10,000.
Crazy, right?
Yeah.
I was trying to buy some so I can build a house.
Yeah.
You've heard these shipping container houses.
Well, there's that place on 4th that's made out of the Box Yard.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the restaurant it's
Yeah,
called Box
Yeah,
Yard.
they probably saved a ton of money. Hopefully they got those at a
Okay, so here's the $1 million question, the $1 trillion question. How do you compare with Amazon? So what's going on with PacDash?
Yeah, so we consider ourselves like a concierge shipping service, right? So imagine you show up at a hotel, right? Amazon would be like, hey, go check in at the kiosk, and then you got to deal with your own stuff, right? For us, we're actually there to greet you, we're there to meet you and help you get to the next level. So for us, so many small businesses and business owners, once they start doing more than $1 million in business, everything fundamentally changes. And now we have so much experience with it that we help guide them through that process, but at the same time provide that like communication and all the different high touch experiences that you would expect from a concierge.
10 seconds, give us your phone number, your website real quick.
Yeah, so you can go to PacDash.com and submit anything you need. And, my phone number is not easy to do, but not the best way to reach me, but Dave@PacDash.com goes straight to me.
All right. Before we wrap up, I just want to thank our sponsor, Perfection Auto Works, again for sponsoring our show. Stop by their location near Speedway in Craycroft for your free 26-point inspection. As always, don't click unverified links in emails or text messages. Use a password manager. Always look at the address bar. Check activity on your bank statements. Enable two-factor authentication. Verify all incoming and outgoing calls and back up your system to the cloud. And listen to the Computer Doctor Show every week. If you missed any part of this show, go to computerdoctorshow.com, click episodes, and find episode 105. We'll see you next week.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Computer Doctor Show. If you missed any part of this live broadcast, we post all our episodes online at computerdoctorshow.com. Remember, the world is getting more and more tech, and so should you. To stay current with technology, listen to the Computer Doctor Show each week for local and global tech insights. If you have suggestions for a topic on a future show, send us an email at info@computerdoctorshow.com.